Once you get it below the return, I'll show you what to do next. If you have a Hayward pump, there's going to be two drain plugs on it. One's going to be in the front, one's going to be on the side. You just got to find the two drain plugs. And if you don't have a Hayward pump, whatever pump you do have, more than likely there's going to be two drain plugs somewhere on the bottom. Sometimes there's two on one side. Sometimes, like this one here, it's one here, one on the side. But there's going to be two of them. One's going to be for the front where the basket is, and then the other one's going to be for where the impeller is. So drain those. Take the lid off and take the basket out. Anything on the equipment side, we're going to throw it back into the pump basket. Drain plug on the bottom of the filter. If you have a cartridge filter, there's going to be one on the bottom of that. Now, if water doesn't come out like that, that means, like if it just drips, that means you need a sand change. It's going to be clogged. You might have to change the sand before you even close the pool, because there's going to be water sitting in there. So if it's not coming out, like if it's coming out a little bit less than that, at least it's coming out. But if it's like barely dripping, it's going to freeze before it totally drains. So you're going to have to take the sand out. For this pool here, I have suction from the main drain. I have suction from the skimmer. You might have a different setup. You might just have right to the skimmer. So you're going to have to blow that line out. Your main drain might go to, you might have a main drain, you might not. Your main drain might go right to the skimmer. We're going to blow the main drain first. Now, if you've watched some of my other videos on closing a pool, I always use a piece of a creepy hose, and I have a Mighty Vac. Now, I'll link it down below, one that's similar to this, because I'm not even sure if you can get this one anymore. Most people have Haywards, and it fits right in. Fits in like that. If you have a different pump, you might have to jam it in there and do whatever you have to do. I could disconnect this and put a different hose on. Whatever connection. Whatever you have to do to blow out the lines, your hookup for your pool, then I'm sure you can rig something up. But so many pools, there's so many pools, so many different ways. But this is how I do it, and I've never had any issues. We're going to blow the main drain, and this is what it should look like. As you're blowing out the main drain, as the blower's running, once those bubbles come up, maybe do that for about 30 seconds to a minute. And whatever valve you have, you should have, maybe you'll have a ball valve, and then the three-way. While it's still running, just turn it off really quickly. It keeps that air pressure down. The water's not going to come back up. We've blocked off the main drain. Now it's going to the skimmer. Let's blow the skimmer. Once you feel that you got most of the water out, you're going to put antifreeze down inside the opening. You're going to screw the Gizzmo on. And then you're going to put about 2-3 inches of antifreeze down in there, and then you're done. Don't forget to take the flap off, which is called a weir. Make sure you take that off. Stuff from the pool side and your weir and jets, and just put it in the pump house somewhere safe. Take your basket with your stuff in there. Just put that in there for now. Next, we're going to do the return lines and the heater and everything else. I like to blow the lines just right after the pump. So we have a union here, and we're going to hook up there and blow it out. If you have a Hayward filter, you might have a little different one. We're going to turn it to recirculate. Yours might say Whirlpool, so turn it to Whirlpool. It won't blow through the sand. It's just going to blow through this top dial. We got that hooked up. as the pump's running, if you have two jets, what you want to do is you want to plug one off first, and it's normally the one that starts blowing out the water first. When you're blowing the water, whatever jet blows out first, that's the closest jet. So that far one over there is going to be a little bit more water than this over here. So we're going to block that off while it's still blowing. We're going to cover it here, and it should come out right there. Plugs in snug. Go around all your jets and do that. Heater you have to take the plugs off, the drain plugs. Normally they're on the manifold. Sometimes they'll have one on the other side, maybe two, but you got to find where the drain plugs are for your heater. So for this Hayward, there's going to be one right here. Sometimes they're all right on the bottom. So as it's running, just before you plug off your last jets, you want to take this off. Heater plug right there. So we're done everything. You put your plugs on for the rest of the jets. Take off your pressure gauge and your sight glass for your backwash. Might be a little washer in there. This one doesn't have it. No wonder it was leaking. In the basket. Turn your dial to closed or in between any of them. It just opens it up for draining on the bottom. We're done on the equipment side, so put your lid back on. Now for the salt cell, I normally never take this off because if you get enough of the water out, there's no reason to take it off. Some of my videos I've taken them off and I've hung them. It all depends on the situation. This pool here, it blows out really, really well, so I don't have to worry too much about it. Plus, these always break. You take them on and off, on and off, on and off. It's plastic, so anything plastic, you keep on messing with it over and over and over and over and over again, is going to be a problem down the road. These here, it must be a different plastic than the normal fittings because they always turn yellow compared to everything else. And I've had so many of these crack. When you try to tighten them, they've always cracked. As long as you get all the water out, there's no issues. But that's how you close this pool anyway.